Over the last couple of years, we've had quite a few inquiries from viewers asking how difficult is it to build this myself. And obviously, with us selling the product, we would say it's very easy. But today we're going to prove that it is, in fact, very easy. We're going to assemble a complete kit, and we're going to use all the components that you would receive had you ordered a kit. So you are going to see those same components going onto the chassis, and you will see that it's really a straightforward procedure. It's nothing complicated. You don't need any special tools. All the bits just fall into place and they all just bolt onto the chassis. So the first step is the assembly of the chassis, all the way to suspension, the electrics, all the components available in our component form kit.
Now, as Jean, Pierre and Zaran will have their hands full, I'm going to do my best to explain in some detail what the heck is going on. Here goes. After wheeling in the chassis and checking out all the bits, let's start with two of the smaller parts. The inner wishbone attachment brackets. A small fiddly bracket that holds, yes, the inner wishbone. More on that later. Next, they balance the chassis on its edge. Why? Well, they're going to be feeding a few cables, hoses and pipes through the centre tunnel, and access to these two little holes is key. First in is the brake vacuum hose, making sure to place and lubricate its grommets first. You're going to see a lot of grommets in this assembly. They're used to protect the various tubes, electric wires and hoses from physical abrasion, as well as to prevent water or dirt ingress.
Okay, I've got the right amount out here.
Next in is the flexible fuel line. The fuel tank is under the bonnet, or the hood for you Americans, while the engine is in the back. Just make sure it's secured at both ends. More grommets and lube is needed before the first of two water pipes is fitted. These are very tight and can be tricky.
Come, okay.
Geronimo, push.
She says thanks very much. It was a lovely evening.
Patience is the key. Next, Pierre starts feeding the brake lines through the tunnel. Once that is done, we can lower the chassis and put a brake line in each of the front corners. At the rear end, Pierre and Zaran fit the engine mounts to their backing plates. On top of them go the anti-vibration mounts. And finally, Jean loosely fits the mounts for the engine in preparation for much later on. Here we see the pedal box assembly. Now this is always done by the workshop before shipping. And yes, it can be both right or left-hand drive. The engine cradle fits to the chassis via a set of inner attachment brackets. Once secured, the cradle bolts directly to them through the chassis. That's clever. A couple of hours into the assembly by now and we can already see some progress. Nice. Okay, still a very long way to go. Let's get that front BMW suspension in. The customised wishbones attach to the inner wishbone brackets that we fitted at the start, as well as into the footwells. It's a tight fit and might need a little bit of persuading. We now need to build up the front suspension by adding first the suspension knuckle, the coil-over Coney shock absorber with an upper rubber swivel joint, and this is all held in place with the shock attachment bracket, which of course is adjustable. allowing you to customize your own suspension setup. Everything is tensioned up and Loctite is added to the key safety bolts. Oh, don't forget these small air diffusers, which are designed to help the warm air exit behind the radiator. Copper compound stops the discs from sticking, making future servicing and replacement hassle-free. Our V8 Stealth Beetle certainly goes, and thus it needs to stop, which it does thanks to vented discs, stopping our 2200 pound or 1 ton car with ease, even at pace. Making sure we fit both sides and connecting the brake lines also helps. Extra support and rigidity is offered to the front shock mounts by the front adjustable upper cross member. Okay, steering. Our rack is another OEM part, this time from Volkswagen. It gets bolted to the chassis and then the nylon bushes are added before the tie rods. Jean ensures the rack is correctly aligned before the rubber boots are fitted and the tie rod ends. The steering is completed by angling up the tie rod ends and fitting and securing them to the front wheel assemblies. Oh, one very important note, you do get a steering column with the kit, but that only gets fitted when the body goes on. Yep, that'll work. We are well into the build by now and time for the rear suspension, also courtesy of BMW. Jean and Pierre start by installing the bottom wishbone assembly. Next, they place the rear upright assembly, tension it and add the control arm. The same goes on the other side before finally adding the camber arms. Of course, all of these elements are fully adjustable, so you can set up your suspension to suit your driving style. Before assembling the rear brakes, Pierre sets about installing the handbrake cables and calipers. A really fiddly process, I must admit, that he accomplishes with ease. On goes the rear discs and the handbrake lever. Done. The rear brakes, by comparison, are a doddle. Insert the brake pads, slide on the calipers, not forgetting the Loctite, bolt them up and attach the brake lines. Sorted. And that's most of the big stuff done. Back at the front, let's install the brake master cylinder and booster assembly, as well as the reservoir, vacuum line and non-return valve. Attach the front brake lines and then onto the clutch master cylinder assembly. As this is a right-hand drive car, we put a blanking plate over the hole on the left-hand side. Zaran quickly fits the rear compression bar attachment brackets, and then it's on to everyone's favourite, the electrics. Pierre has meticulously designed the V8 Stealth Beetle wiring loom. It's a work of art and starts in the centre console with the fuse box and relays, and then spreads out through the chassis to all four corners, out of the top for the front end and through the tunnel to the back. Here Pierre is terminating the wires, which will need to be done all over the vehicle. And yes, you've guessed it, lots more grommets are used here to help protect the loom. The battery sits behind the rear firewall on the left-hand side. While all this is going on, Jean attends to the rear suspension, installing the rear suspension chassis crossmember. Next, the rear shocks. These bolt into position no problem and then can be adjusted. Also attached to the cross member are the 2 compression bars. Almost there, just a few more bits. The clutch pedal and cable, well, they need fixing. And then the fuel filter and bracket get fitted. Really starting to look good now. Okay, obviously we need to cool our 6.2 litre Chevy engine. The radiator and fan simply fits into 2 grommeted holes at the bottom and then bolted through a tube at the top of the chassis. Vital to any car is the anti-roll bar. It helps to reduce body roll during fast cornering and poor road conditions. And our car is no exception. Next we fit some radiator shielding and ducting. Pia is now busy attaching the radiator hoses. Our transmission is a 6-speed manual transaxle. Yep, that means it needs a gear lever or gear shift. The last thing on our build is to attach the gear shift cables and linkages.
Okay, Pierre, I need the nuts and the rubber.
These also go through the tunnel. They get secured and they are attached by simply screwing to the underside of the gear stick.
Turn, Pierre.
I think Jean and Pierre had a bit of fun here checking that it all works and making sure that it is ready for the actual gearbox linkages. And 1.5 days later, we are done. Ready for step 2, which is fitting the engine and transaxle.
There are a few components which we haven't fitted, and those are components that you'll be using when you fit the engine and gearbox, and also some components when you fit the body. To give you an example, the steering column was not fitted because it gets fitted only once the body is on. So there are a few components which you get with the kit, and it's part of the kit, but not fitted at this stage. So that's the end of step 1. Step 2 is the exciting bit. We'll be fitting the engine and gearbox, and obviously with that we'll be connecting water, fuel, clutch, etc. And then we get to a point where we can make some noise. We can turn the key and we can listen to this guy fire up. We hope to see you then.